House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot.
I don't get it.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, no, I mean, you come in early, you bust your butt. We dealt with this yesterday. It's like day after day after day. We just can't get it right.
I think everything's fine, but we just couldn't hear the commercials, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because people are on there, I see them coming. Oh, they can hear us.
He's checking system settings.
We're fine.
No, they say they hear us, buddy.
Okay.
House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during our solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car, hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com. Kathy Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local athletes to injured workers and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com, DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
Hey guys, welcome into the show. It's cancelthisshow.com. Tabitha Hassel, Vic Faust, your host, Eric Johnson on route. We've got producer Tim on the boards, getting things rocking and rolling. Lizzie Sparks, our social media director, getting things going. Hey guys, big show today coming up. You know, canceltheshow.com. Always, as as we ask you, go to our website, canceltheshow.com. Like and subscribe, share the show, let people know exactly what we're doing. We'll continue to let everybody know what's going on coming up tomorrow. Brad Young, local attorney, St.
Can't
Louis
wait.
area, talk about some issues from a national standpoint. Also, get his updates with some lawsuits against Kyle Rittenhouse, kind of set the stage because Kyle Rittenhouse set to join us Thursday at 9:00 as well. Looking forward to talking to him from that standpoint. Also, you know what we do here? Cancel culture education, news stories, headlines, politics, you name it, we've got it. And that's what we try to do. Get you going every day, 8 to 10 Central. Of course, you can catch all of our content all the time on cancelthisshow.com. All right, we jump into this Tuesday, February 28th, the last day of February already. As time just continues to zoom on by. There's a rally for Kim Gardner today.
I heard.
Her supporters, I guess. I mean,
all 5 of them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, no. There's
Oh,
she has
I
lots-
know.
No, she has.
These are the
support.
people who are going to be sponsoring the riots when they take place.
It's just very difficult. It's a day after Daniel Riley, the man who should have been in prison, and it was Kim Gardner and her office's fault. And there's proof that on a sheet we showed it last week. We showed you a contact of mine provided that information for us that we showed on the show regarding situations when it comes to saying they agreed with him getting out, even though she said she fought to keep Daniel Riley in prison. Well, yesterday there was a hearing. The judge pretty much, I mean, we knew it was going to happen. The judge yesterday said, no, we're not going to give you bond. So he is being held without bond, as he should be. He was given like 40 hey, it's if you make a mistake, you make a mistake.
Right.
You break a law, you break a law. But when it happens over and over and over and over and over and over again, then you got an issue. It doesn't become an issue of forgiveness anymore. It becomes an issue of, okay, we got to take care of this problem. Well, this comes the day after, and it also comes the day yesterday when Christine Myers, or Christina, I can't think of her last name, from KSDK, did a fantastic story, letting everybody know that Janae found out she doesn't have legs now.
I heard about that.
So I'm assuming she was sedated.
How
for a while.
heartbreaking.
Asked her parents if they were still going to love her. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
that
these
is
stories will
heartbreaking.
continue to go on and on and on. So the fact her parents also got to come face to face with Daniel Riley yesterday in a St. Louis court, saying this person should not get any sort of bond, and he didn't. So they said she was just crying, dealing with the best, hoping that her parents would still love her. And she said she remembered everything. Sometimes you hear about people who go through horrific accidents or
Yes,
getting hit
that's
or
right.
jolted. Now she says she remembers the crash. She remembers the car hitting her and all of that.
That's such trauma.
So there's a situation then the day after all of this went down in court yesterday. Kim Gardner, I don't know if she's going to be at the rally that's going to be held at the Carnahan Courthouse.
No, probably not.
But
she's at home drafting up those racist letters.
But I don't even know. What do you mean, those racist letters?
No, the last time she was almost removed from her position, all of a sudden she cried, I'm getting all these racist threats. And I saw those letters. It was clearly written by the same person, which is probably her or someone she knows.
Oh, man. It's just reading that story. It just time-sensitive issues. I don't know if today's the best day to have a rally for Kim Gardner right near the same area where everything happened yesterday. And unfortunately,
it will be for the people who support her because they don't care.
When you're the circuit attorney and you run for that office, you're in charge. This is on Kim Gardner. Unfortunately, it is on Kim Gardner. It is on the St. Louis judicial system because of what she did. She signed off on all of that. There's no doubt it falls right at her feet. There's no other way around it. And yes, it's still a national story. Unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. Not exactly right now. So
will anything happen? That's the question. Will anything happen? Will she be removed? It's a process. It's not easy. It's not going to happen overnight. Will anything happen? She's already committed perjury.
If anything,
and she's still in her job.
Well, I do think there's a serious chance. We broke it down last week. Just a reminder. There's evidence. Andrew Bailey would not be as direct. there's evidence. We showed the evidence on this show. We showed it. I showed you the court papers, the actual court papers where she signed off, yet she said she fought to keep him behind bars, which was a lie, unfortunately. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
It was a lie.
But we also have to, the reality of the situation, Vic, is these people don't care about this girl's life or her losing her legs. What they care about is making sure Kim Gardner keeps her job.
Yeah, this is desperate. I see this. Yeah. This is the most desperate her and her, quote, supporters
That's right.
have been in the years that I've covered her. And I don't wish bad upon anybody. I really don't.
Where were they all when all these children were shot at bus stops? All these innocent people killed in crossfires, in carjackings, in robberies. People don't care about human life. These people just want her in this position because she empowers the criminals.
Well, if the family continues to show up in St. Louis and get media coverage, it's going to be very difficult for a Missouri Supreme Court, because here's the problem. The courts, I've been told, like I said, I'll say it again. I've been told by a judge, she's probably going to lose in court. Then she'll appeal to the Missouri Supreme Court where she'll win, where she has had Democratic support. And guess what? It becomes Democrat versus Republican, which is sad when you think of Janae. Think of Janae and what happened to her, and Kim Gardner letting this guy out, this thug, this criminal, over and over and over again. Didn't do anything. She didn't put a good staff in place. It's just unfortunate and
highly unfortunate.
And we'll see how it all goes down. But anyway, it is interesting because you have that. And even if she isn't removed, we have a situation that we're also dealing with when it comes to
I went and took care of her myself.
A prosecutor to be taken down and leading, to have special prosecutors leading, because it's clear Kim Gardner can't run St. Louis City. It's not going well. I'm not trying to be mean. She's not cut for the job. Sometimes you give it your shot, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. She's not cut out. She doesn't have the leadership authority to do it. And she doesn't have the leadership skills. She doesn't have the money behind her. And there you go. We've talked about it a million times.
We're going to have some insight into this because I'm working on a guest who's going to join us, who is an African-American criminal defense attorney in the city of St. Louis, who has had to deal with Kim Gardner directly and the court system directly. So we're going to get that worked out.
Bendy said she heard that Janae needs 3 more surgeries before she can leave the hospital. She's already had 5. First of all, they had to. Hey, Drew, I'm going to ask you a question, and we appreciate you jumping in on our phone line. If anybody ever wants to join us on our video line, their number is rolling at the bottom of your screen. You can text the number, and then we'll give you the video link to jump in with us. Doesn't matter if she was voted in twice, because if somebody from the comment line says she was voted in twice, what's that say about you? What does that say about the people in St. Louis City?
Drew wants her removed. He has said it numerous times. He wants her removed, but at the same time, he makes a valid point.
Yeah, when you have hardcore street rappers like T Dubbo saying that she needs to be gone and Tashara needs to be gone,
but at the same time,
that shows you where it is.
It's a local election, and if you back your local election, will we set a precedent by removing her?
Wrong.
Because what about the folks that we really like? What if somebody said, "Hey, I don't like Nick Shore, I don't like Ben Brown." And we were just going to get rid of them regardless of the fact that people voted for them.
I need to jump in real fast.
By the way, you look good. Eric, you look good in hoodies, man.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. it's very hip hop today. Hip hop, Eric. Tabitha, you're very right on a lot of things that you say. On this one, we're wrong.
No, I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm saying I see that argument coming up.
And this goes to Drew.
Because she lied.
It goes to you.
She
and it goes to
crimes.
myself. It goes to myself. It goes to Vic. It goes to everyone listening. We've come over threshold after threshold. We're now at a threshold where people that are elected to do a job say you're the dog catcher, and we see that our community has 5,000 dogs running around, and they're all feral cats, and it's crazy. And we elected this guy to do a job, to be the feral cat picker-upper and put it in the truck and get rid of these dogs.
Boom.
And all of a sudden, the dog catcher decides, you know what? I'm going on vacation. I like dogs. I don't want to screw with the dogs. The dogs are nice. Oh, a few might bite somebody and they might pee all over the place, but I'm not going to work on this. I think, okay, when you have crossed the threshold of not doing your job, you're done. And this has got to be a new thing in this country. when we elect you as a leader of whatever it is, I don't care if it's dog catcher, trash collector, prosecutor, chief of police, whatever, I don't give a damn. If you're elected and we said that you're the best one to do this job and the job is quantifiable to this, you should be removed from office if after a certain amount of time you don't hit those benchmarks.
But what if the next election?
Discussion over. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're Chinese. I really don't give a damn if you're a Mexican. I don't care if you're Swedish. I don't care if you're German. There's no such thing as racist anymore in this conversation. It is benchmarks that you put into a spreadsheet. You came into office. Your murder rate went up. You have no idea how to get it down.
But that's you saying that, not her constituents. They voted for her again.
Vic, help me out over here, buddy.
I agree with you.
I agree with you.
Help me out over here.
I agree with you 1,000 times over.
Can I add something to this that is something that we haven't talked about before? I don't think I said this on the air, and if I did, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, go ahead.
I was told the group that pushed Kim Gardner over in her last election, number one, the problem is not enough people vote. Number two, the group that I was told that pushed her over, this came from, quote, campaign group, some person in the campaign group from their research, more affluent white people in the Del Mar area that were very, very, very much in favor of Kim Gardner.
So what?
And do you see a lot of crime happening over there all the time? And is there a lot of crime happening in those neighborhoods?
That's cold-hearted.
Not as much as it is in other areas.
I know. That's just what I was told. I just thought it was another. We're always trying to develop the story. We're trying to push to the next thing and not just repeat the same thing.
So overpaid white elitist Del Marians are voting for a prosecutor that's getting African Americans killed in downtown St. Louis. Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe. This is specifically, it all branches off. This tree has so many branches. The big one that we started with was the Janae situation. And if
it's not Janae, it'll be the next one. Did you know that on Channel 2, your old station, they're starting a series? Now listen to this. Get real close to your speakers.
Okay. I don't know what you're seriously, I don't know. I don't know about
Channel 2
this.
has a new thing. Channel 2 has a new thing coming out here in St. Louis called Saving St. Louis.
I hope they hire you. You could be their spokesperson.
I
have been now saying this for going on 2.5 years that St. Louis is doomed if they don't get on this. And nobody in the local media has been saying anything until now.
But their idea of saving St. Louis is totally different.
When's the last time?
What actually works?
No, when's the last time you saw a reporter? But they're not doing what you say they need to do.
If St. Louis had a pro football team, if it had no crime, if it had a budding economic development down there, there would be no show on Channel 2 called Saving St. Louis. None.
Eric, there's plenty of ways to fix the city, but nobody wants to fix it.
Does it say what they're doing?
I will find out.
The problem with local news, and there are some great people at Fox too. There are some great people that I worked with, but here's the problem. You come up with these promos. We're the best. You can trust us. You can count on us. We're your friends. And it's one thing to say something, but what are you really going to do to save St. Louis? Because you're not. Number one, you're not going to have Tashara removed. Number two, are you on the bandwagon to try to have Kim Gardner removed? Are you going down and telling those people having rallies for her that this isn't a good idea? No. Do you have Mike in people's face? No. Because you know why? Because they're afraid of getting canceled by certain groups.
Again.
And a few of those groups that have a small amount of people, they do show up and vote, but guess what? They're the loudest.
Again.
And they threaten you and say that if you don't get rid of Kevin Steincross, we're going to march in your parking lot. We're going to cause you problems. These are things that have happened. These are threats that are made. So I don't know what they think they're going to do to, quote, save St. Louis.
Here's the deal. I'm getting tired of the debating. I don't ever want to hear the word racism again because it has nothing to do with racism. It's literally a tool that Tabitha gets sucked into and falls for it every damn time. When they call you racist, they want you to make a statement. And it's like, just look at him and go, yeah, anyway.
If somebody calls you racist, you know, you
just look at him and go,
no, you know what you ask?
Yeah, this isn't 1874 anymore, okay? This is 1962.
No, I've learned this in all of my trying to become a better person. If somebody's starting stuff with you for a month straight, or somebody cusses at you first or says something in life, if that ever happens, don't respond.
You don't respond.
You just look at somebody and
no
say,
one's ever called me racist.
And ask them if somebody calls you racist.
Never.
Say, you know what you say? You say, are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you doing all right?
And then you take a pause like Vic just did, and you look back at him. Here's the deal. No more racism, Drew. No more racism. Tashara, actually, I'm semi-impressed about. I don't know what she's going to do. It seems like a leader with some balls might say,
or somebody
Kim,
who
you're
wants
gone.
money. She just wants to
I don't know
keep her
about that.
money.
I don't know about that.
She could have done something a long time ago. She's only doing it now because it's gone national.
Well,
she could have done something a long time ago when all these children were shot and killed, all these innocent folks getting caught in crossfire, people losing their businesses because of crime. She could have done something.
Here's the deal.
A long time ago.
I know that this Jenna, is that her name? The girl that got
Janae
I do feel sorry for her, and she's the face of St. Louis right now. She is. Listen to me. But there's also 300 black families that have had kids shot up on the streets that we're not talking about, okay? I'm kind of like, Janae, thank you very much. We'll take it from here. I'm kind of looking out for the next kid that gets shot down on Minnesota Avenue downtown, or someone that's down at Soulard that gets shot in the back of the head, or some cop that gets shot at. So yes, I think, thank you very much. Your loss is going to help us to try to rectify some of this stuff. I'm tired of people getting shot up downtown. I don't have to go down there. I have no use of going downtown. But there's an African-American family that's his kid is in a gang that's going to get shot at again. And Kim Gardner's not putting them away for 20 years. They're putting them away for 20 minutes and then letting them out again. So let's do this, Drew. If you want to have a fair conversation with me, that's cool. But here's the deal. Chinese, Mexican, African-American, Swedish, German, I don't care what your flavor of your nationality is from this point on. We're going to get a spreadsheet out. If you can do the job, outstanding. If you can't, bye. Don't forget to write. There's someone that is right behind you that can do the job.
Well, guys, here's another way to develop this story too, and it goes on something you were just talking about. Eric was saving St. Louis. Okay, there's a good time coming up for St. Louis with people going downtown. Okay, hear me out. And there's going to be a lot of people converging on St. Louis in the next month to 2 months to 3 months. Number one, next weekend or 2 weeks, you've got March 11th, that weekend, you've got the Battlehawks in St. Louis with their first home game. Guess what? They've already sold out the lower bowl. They started selling out. You can't even get season tickets in the third level. Now you get season tickets in the fourth level. It is a massive deal for St. Louis to get this. Is it the Rams? No. Is it an NFL crowd? No. But a lot of people are going downtown to St. Louis for this.
What are you worried about?
They have no choice,
No, I'm not worried about it. Here's what I'm saying.
You have no choice.
So you have that. You also have the start of MLS. Sold out, best season tickets ever in the history of the MLS. And by the way, MLS attendance continues to go up and up and up. It's a massive success. You're going to have a ton of people in West St. Louis. You're going to have people down at the Dome.
Yeah.
And guess what? In just over another month, you've got Cardinal baseball coming back into the mix. So you're going to have a lot of people coming into St. Louis, spending money, and a lot of people going back downtown. I pray to God people stay safe. I pray to God that there's some sort of protection and that nothing else happens, because another story you're starting to see is people downtown just busting through stop signs at 50 miles an hour.
I know. Well, so that's the other thing about St. Louis people is it's not just about having a Glock 9 put in your face and someone stealing your wallet. This is a violent damn town. Someone just got killed at an intersection here in St. Louis down by SLU, if you know where that is. There's break-ins. There's a 90% chance that you're going to walk into your storefront in downtown St. Louis and the glass is going to be busted out. If you want to bring your nice Lexus from West County downtown to go see a concert at Delmar Hall, there's a good chance that you don't have windshields when you come out of Delmar Hall. It's not maybe 100%, but it's about 40%. So that's something they have to address. They have to start cleaning this stuff up. And I will go this far. There's this thing that they used to have in a city I used to live in called zero tolerance. And it was almost kind of like what I would have thought that the Rudy Giuliani days were like, is the, what did he call it? It was the busted window kind of mentality. You do that, you're in jail. And the only thing that fights crime is a deterrent called jail.
Yeah.
Unless I'm missing something.
No,
Am I missing something, Vic? I mean,
No,
is there something else you can do besides jail to make it 100% guaranteed that a guy or a gal with a criminal mentality doesn't do it again? Is there anything that I'm missing it?
Can I give you a statistic? And Vic, going back to your point about all of these different events going on in the city of St. Louis.
Yes.
Look at the city homicide rate in 2022. 200 homicides. Eric and Vic, white people are not being shot and killed in the city of St. Louis.
Good point.
200 homicides in the city of St. Louis.
Should I just say it? Because
17 were white.
Should I say it? Black on black crime?
It is.
Because there are African Americans who hate it when you say black on black crime. I don't know why, but that's a fact. It's not racist. It's
It's
fact.
not racist. It's sad as hell.
You have to admit the problem before you can fix the problem.
And then to admit that problem, then we also must admit that Kim Gardner's failures only hurt the black community.
Oh, first and
primarily.
foremost. But the problem is it's the cog. It's St. Louis City, and it goes out.
And of course, we have the other issues, the carjackings and the break-ins. But you, as a white person, going to the city of St. Louis to attend one of these games, you're actually very safe. You're much safer than a black person going to St. Louis City to attend one of these games.
It's a good
point.
point.
Think about that point.
It's a great point.
Because me, as a white person, I'm not scared at all going to the city of St. Louis. I don't want to be robbed or carjacked, but I'm not worried someone's going to murder me because they're not murdering white people. The homicide rates in the city of St. Louis are directly related to gang activity and drugs.
That's right.
And sex trafficking. If you're not involved in gang activity, sex trafficking, or drug activity, guess what? You're probably not going to get killed in the city of St. Louis.
But here's the indirect part of it. Number one, there are, quote, white people's cars being broken into.
Absolutely
there are,
so.
quote, white people being robbed. There
Absolutely.
are, quote, white people dodging bullets. And there are people that are getting the hell out of Dodge, which hurts from a financial standpoint. Once again, it's that tree with many branches. So yes, it may not, quote, be taking your life, but there is crime.
There is crime.
And it's kicking people out. And when people aren't there, businesses don't show up. And we don't have businesses showing up, everybody's getting concerned.
And Abe Rivera makes a great point. You know, they're just getting their legs removed. That's safe. I'm not saying the city of St. Louis is safe, but I'm saying I don't fear going there to different events. And the problem, I do fear the traffic. I really do. Because when you go in the city of St. Louis, people don't stop. You have to have your head on a swivel.
That's right.
You really do. Because I'll tell you, and people from out of town don't know this, people don't obey traffic signals. You have no idea. Look at the 4 people that were killed in the hit and run this past weekend. 4 people in a vehicle. Another car, I guess, runs a light, hits them, flips them over the overpass, and they die.
Yep. Well, we're talking just from a St. Louis standpoint. Will we see a change in Chicago? Another massive story going on today. We do local, we do national on the show, but it all kind of intertwines. We have seen what's happened under Lori Lightfoot.
Another good example.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Guess what? There are 9 candidates in a runoff today. Not one Republican. They're all Democrats in the city of Chicago. Chicago, arguably a city that's every bit as bad as St. Louis, except they do have business. But they do, at least they still have people that live in the area. They have business there.
Barely.
You can still go out in Chicago. You can. There's parts.
Would you walk down the Miracle Mile right now after 6 o'clock?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'd have to
then
get a
there you
local. I'd have to get a local to tell me what's going on. Please teach me, tell me.
Okay.
But with that being said, 9 candidates today. Will she even make the runoff? They're going to have a runoff. I don't even know if
she's in 3rd place polling.
But here's the best part about it. 214,000 people requested a ballot. Okay, there's so many ways we could go with that.
Well, she's just a shady little
But
thing,
214,000, at least there's people who care before the election requesting ballots. I'm praying to God it's all legal. I'm praying to God it's legit.
Yes.
With mail-in ballots and everything else that can happen. But 214,000 requested, at least that shows there's a heartbeat. There's somewhat of a concern for who's going to be the next mayor in Chicago.
There's just nothing about the Democratic Party that they're doing that is remotely good. Nothing. COVID management, nothing. Lori Lightfoot, nothing. Kim Gardner, nothing. George Gascon, nothing. I mean, I'm trying right now.
And what's behind all this? Soros backing.
The XL pipeline, nothing. Inflation, nothing. I mean, I need somebody right now to come out of the woodwork and tell me, Eric, you're missing this. This is what the Democrats are doing really good. I'm waiting. I'm going to sit here with a little bit of, just be quiet for a second. I'm waiting for someone to come tell me.
I'm with John. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs also. And he's right. It was not like this in the 80s.
No, it wasn't like that 5 years ago.
I used to visit Chicago when I was a kid. I loved it.
It wasn't like that 5 years ago.
No, when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old, my friends and I would take the train into the city of Chicago by ourselves. Never had a problem, never fearful. Our parents didn't have to worry about us. No way would you allow a kid to do that right now.
Well, the other thing too, to think about it, I didn't even know about this. Citizens trying to recall the mayor of New Orleans, had no idea. And that has been a disaster as well. Another situation across the country where you have mayors and police and issues when it comes to finances and keeping people safe. Obviously, Chicago's a problem right now. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has had a lot of issues since she's come into office.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if she's only polling third, there was also a story that I saw yesterday came out that there were, and you never know how many, but there were inmates in prison in Chicago calling reporters and newspapers saying, we're being told or forced to, quote, vote for Mayor Lori Lightfoot in this election inside prison.
I hadn't heard that.
Which is illegal.
She's so shady.
And that's what I'm like,
she's so shady.
She's polling third and she comes out and she wins in a landslide. Does this sound familiar anywhere? I mean, think about it.
She's so shady.
Well, it's not just her. It's all over the board.
What's the one that I heard about?
I mean,
think
you could
about
say
it.
Inmates are trying to do this to get this and that, but man, if you're behind bars and this is happening to you.
Think about it for a second. Chicago is the face. They're at a crossroads too. They're at the face of this George Gascon kind of Lori Lightfoot kind of liberal. They can keep going down that path, but they're at a crossroads. They could go another direction where that city could become safe. St. Louis, Missouri. We're the face right now of prosecute. We're the face. This is us. I just went on to Fox National, and there's Kim Gardner's face. We're the face of getting rid of these George Soros-backed prosecutors. If this doesn't work, we're screwing it up for other cities across the country, because we can set a precedent that if your prosecutor is a Soros-backed prosecutor, you can get rid of them.
Well, I hope that we look at it as setting a different precedent. That's important. That's number one in my book. But also the fact that she's committed crime. She perjured herself. She's lied. She's done so many different things that she should have been disbarred a long time ago.
Well, the highest. Wait a minute. Are we back on Kim Gardner?
Yeah.
Well, we're all over the liberal
Kim Gardner
leadership board.
Was exonerated.
I know.
By the Missouri Supreme Court.
I know.
Okay.
But
I'm just going to let you know. She
by
was
a
exonerated.
thread. Here's my question to Vic is, why do you think the Supreme Court would say, all right, you've been in here twice now.
Yeah, that's
you
why,
are a shady individual. Get out.
That's why I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance now. I really do. But I do think there's a chance, a serious chance that she's not going to make it.
Yeah.
I do. Even if she loses in court and then appeals. The only thing is, remember, this is not a process that's going to go fast. This is a process that gets drawn out a little bit.
Yeah.
And who knows what else is going to happen in the meantime.
And Governor Parson has zero to lose in this. He could say enough is enough and show his badassness and come into St. Louis. And I don't know what his powers are.
That's why I think the special prosecutor, it will have a very, very, very strong chance, because let's just put it this way. A few of the state senators that could filibuster, if they start filibustering, they're going to be associated with Kim Gardner. And if they do that, they know, and I'm just going to tell you, every politician is the same. They could be your best friend one day and the next day, you know what? I don't know if you're going to be good for me or not, and not want to have anything to do with you. I've seen it happen over and over again.
Then we're in
because
the era.
right now there's nothing Governor Parson can do. He can't do anything.
But he can throw his weight behind it.
He
can say enough is enough in the media.
He has gone after Kim Gardner several times.
Yeah.
This is all, like Nick Schroer told us, there's a legislative process that things have to go through. And Governor Parson has always been that way. He has always been, listen, I'm not going to come infringe upon this. I mean, even Steve Ellman in St. Charles, remember, St. Charles County did not want local government. He thinks local people should take care of local problems. And it wasn't until last week where he says, I'm now thinking that it might be the best thing to have a special prosecutor if a city, in this case St. Louis, does not want to take care or try to take care of their issues.
Let me talk to Steve Ellman for a second. What is the check and the balance on somebody that wants to go to St. Louis, but we can't because the prosecutor's so bad? What check and balance does a prosecutor have that's rogue, that is ideological, and like I talked about at the beginning of the show, not doing their damn job? If you hired a $40 million a year quarterback and every time they went back to pass, they just threw the ball into the ground, would you not want to fire them? Well, that's what Kim Gardner's doing. She drops back to pass and she throws the ball out of bounds. It's like, get rid of her. Get the backup in there and see if they can throw a pass down the field. Kim Gardner is a joke. I have been seeing lately on national Fox News. I know Tabitha hates national Fox News, but they are starting to do this weird thing called George Gascon cities. Have you seen that?
No.
They're starting to do stories now about, hey, this is a George Gascon city. Remember when we talked about you need to brand these elections? You're a George Gascon, help me out here, person that wants to run for office, candidate. That's what we were talking about, is not talking about the person and the ideology, but actually tying them to this clown who's trying to destroy the United States.
It's all over. It's not just St. Louis. It's not just Los Angeles or Chicago. It's all across the country. And you know what? Just because we have these Soros-backed prosecutors in office now destroying our country, think about how many are waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, you get rid of Kim Gardner, you'll probably have another one step right up.
Is the era over, you think? It's
far from over.
Is the veil been lifted?
It's just starting.
Really?
It's just starting.
You think that people, if they hear that you're a George Gascon funded candidate
in Democrat liberal cities, there's so many more waiting in the wings. There are probably some out there who are worse than Kim Gardner, waiting to take her place, worse than Lightfoot.
Wow.
Eric,
waiting
do you
to take
really
her place.
think that you're changing Democrat minds?
No, I don't.
None of us are.
No, but I do think people want to be safe
Democrats
in their backyard.
are going to try to change, or think that they're going to be changing Republican minds? No. We all know how politics work. We do. We know how it works.
Yeah, exactly. It's
very
it's
few
unfortunate
people keep
and
an
dismal.
open mind. Who knows where the independents in this country will go? Who knows what happens when it comes to voting, whether it's local or whether it's national? It's just one of those things. We might find stories, and we tend to find stories and look for stories that pump up our feelings already. And like, oh yeah, I like that. I'm going to watch that because I like that. Where it takes a very mature stance to watch something you don't like to see, okay, what is the other stance? Am I really going to keep an open mind here or not? Will I really be willing to change my ideas?
Okay, so let's say they get rid of Kim Gardner. Let's say they get rid of Lightfoot or Gascon or any of these other folks. I believe it's up to the governor to appoint someone in the case that somebody is recalled and removed from their position.
Governor Parson would then appoint.
So whether it's Governor Parson or
but this is going to be a long road. This would be a long road.
It's a very long road. And we have to remember that Governor Parson can't throw in some conservative Republican prosecutor in the city of St. Louis. It will never happen. It won't happen. He's going to have to put into place someone that the city will accept, or they will have absolute mutiny.
No, I don't know what that means, but it seems like when you do nothing, if you get a prosecutor and goes in here, okay, let's see what are I think that you could find somebody that would go do the job. It's not that hard of a job. You read the case, you prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
There's people who will do the job, no question about it. But the fact is you can't put a conservative Republican prosecutor in the city of St. Louis in the circuit attorney's office. It would never work.
Okay, let me ask you this. When the hell did neighborhood safety become a Republican Democrat thing?
Who says it has?
I'm asking a question because we have a Republican St. Charles. We value safety. I know that at least twice a week I'm listening to a helicopter go down Highway 70 for carjackings or car theft or whatever it is. They have task force that are doing this.
They're just looking for you.
But
now let me ask you this: when did the stupidity of these liberal causes, the defund the police, become a Democratic thing? When was it that someone who was going to go to a polling station said, I'm voting for not being safe?
Because here's the problem, Eric. You're packaging it all up in a nice little bow like that because that's not what they vote for. That's not what people think they're voting for, and that's not what they say they're voting for. They say there's all these other issues that happen. They say it's because of racism, and you're not going to change their mind. They're going to say it's because,
again, I come back to this.
As Tabitha talks about the lottery of birth.
You can have George Floyd and Michael Brown all day long in your thought process. But when did it, now you have to break it down. When did it become cool to be a family living downtown St. Louis and all they want to do is have a family barbecue and live in an unsafe community? When did they go, you know what, I've had enough of this. We got to clean up the streets.
It's a lot of it is that the liberal perspective is that the police are oppressive. And so therefore they want to.
But the gang members are lovely individuals.
No, the gang members are doing, as T. Dubbo, the rapper from North St. Louis, who joined us a few weeks ago, said, Eric, you do what you have to do to get money. If you're broke your whole life,
so what?
It's about poverty.
Eric,
so
I'm not
what?
saying I agree. I'm just telling you the perspective. You're not going to change anybody's mind. And people who are voting Democrat don't see it how you see it.
Is it racist when the folk out in the suburbs go, all right, screw you, you're on your own? Is that racist then? Because there's a lot of people that are like,
what does that mean, you're on your own, though?
We're not coming back.
People don't like it.
Welcome to East St. Louis. You've just turned St. Louis into a huge ghost town with a big old arch in the middle.
It's got to get that way. I mean, the only people.
Is that racist? I'm asking you a question. You guys never come to St. Louis anymore. Well, you guys are the most dangerous city in America. Of course we're not coming there.
I have some good news, Eric.
Yes, go ahead.
Here's some good news for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of exactly what you're talking about.
I'm listening.
Liberal cities who want to defund and dismantle the police, who eventually learn their lessons that that's not the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Exactly.
Seattle. Remember
God.
what happened in Seattle? Do you know Seattle has learned their lesson? They
Talking
are now
about trying to turn the Titanic fast.
Ground zero in Portland for anti-police.
Yep. Now, guess what? They are offering a $30,000 bonus to new police recruits in the city of Seattle because they didn't want police. They got rid of a lot of their police officers. A lot of police officers quit. And guess what? Now the city is overrun with crime, and they are offering people
really?
$30,000 bonus if you will become a police officer in the city of Seattle.
I got to be honest with you. I lived in Seattle when it wasn't crime-ridden. I can't even imagine Seattle, Washington as a crime-ridden city. I can't even put that in my head.
It's still trash.
Seattle,
step up. This is a national show.
Seattle's one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been in, ever. And now you guys are telling me it's tent city and crime all over the place. I don't even know where it came from.
And Eric, you know what? A lot of this
showed you
itself
Phoenix
out.
yesterday.
I know. It's unbelievable. And in Los Angeles, I went back there last year. It is literally 20 miles of tents on the highway. Go to LA sometime, man. It's crazy.
What concerns me down the road is if not to get too off track, but is if our economy takes a big hit. If the dollar continues to go down, if something big happens where there's a mortgage bust again, or if something happens from that standpoint, what could happen at that standpoint? And it is possible. I mean, our economy is very fragile right now.
Very fragile.
And probably the most fragile it's been in regards to the amount of money that's been handed out, where we are with the dollar. I mean, literally,
our country's bankrupt.
People would, I mean, I don't remember the last, how would you say it's fair to say to go all the way back to the 20s?
It's
as
I would
dangerous
think so.
as it could be.
I would think so.
Because even when inflation was terrible in the 70s and 80s, you hadn't borrowed as much money and put as much money out than you have now. It's that bad. So that concerns me when it comes to the safety issue.
Yeah.
And what could possibly happen then when you see the homelessness, when you see these people in these cities not being able to deal with crime.
I understand.
It's bad.
Look,
what?
We're at a crossroads, people. You don't want your government giving away trillions of dollars that they don't actually have in the bank. You don't want your prosecutor not putting people behind bars. You do not want your mayor out there doing dances when you have crime that is going out of control. We're at a crossroads. You either see what you've done to this country or you don't. If you don't, the people that have means to get away from here will, and the people that don't will just live in squalor.
It might sort itself because most likely a majority of those folks out committing crime are going to be drafted soon.
Drafted into what?
Oh no! Don't go
war.
back to war.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh!
I can't take
you didn't.
How can we not talk about war? Yesterday we had Biden. We had President Biden saying we are heading into Armageddon.
You're going to take us back to.
We had Russia talking about Armageddon, and last night I had a very serious conversation with my mother. We were coming back from Charleston, Missouri, and we said, well, maybe draft will solve the crime problem, because guess what? If you're between 18 and 36, something like that, you're going to be heading into war. And some of these folks in the city of St. Louis should be pretty good at it.
When are people going to be drafted into war?
Anytime.
Anytime.
No, but I do think it's going to happen.
Well, Tabitha, unfortunately, I don't mean to be counterpoint here, but I know you saw this story. If that were the case, we got problems.
We do have problems.
Tim, Eric, Lizzie, Tabitha, myself, Scotty listening from Florida. Now polling shows that 90% of Americans between the age of 17 and 24 aren't fit for military service.
Jeez.
So we all in trouble, Tabitha.
Oh my God. They're not
I repeat,
fit.
90% of 17 to 24-year-olds are not even fit for military service.
Scary, isn't it? That means us old folks are going to have to go and take care of business.
Yeah, but keep in mind, maybe that's old military service. I mean, you don't really have most of isn't it air war now? Isn't it?
Things are, shooting yes
missiles?
And no, because it's really not.
I mean, we're not going into World War III anytime soon, Tabitha.
Yes, we are. We absolutely will be in World War III within the next year.
I know you believe everything that Kim Jong-un and Putin say, but
how can you not? Putin warned Ukraine that he was going to invade for over a year. They didn't believe him. And guess what?
Yeah, but we're America. We're not
happened.
Ukraine.
Oh, Vic, stop.
Tabitha, you're smarter than that.
Tabitha, take a pill.
Why am I being silly? Why am I being silly?
You're being. I think you're.
Give me that tranquilizer gun.
With me.
Give me that tranquilizer gun real fast.
Yesterday you agreed with me.
No,
shoot her in the ass.
Tell me why I sound naive.
Just ask him to shoot me.
Give me that tranquilizer gun. Here's the deal.
Everything that's happening right now points. We're technically already in a world war. I mean, a lot of people don't want to look at it that way. People don't want to admit that we are.
Really.
But when we have Ukrainian troops training on our soil in how to use a Patriot missile defense system, that's called war. We are fighting for sure a proxy war. We already know that. We've sent $1 trillion over to Ukraine. Yeah. We've already had our generals in our military say we will be at war with China by 2025, then other folks coming up and say, no, more like 2024. And then we have Biden saying, hey, we're heading into Armageddon. We had Putin yesterday saying, hey, if you send any more money to Ukraine, which we're getting ready to send $2.5 billion to Ukraine over the next couple weeks, he said, guess what? We're going to launch the nuclear missiles on you guys. How long can we keep saying it's not going to happen? You guys, that's why you're naive.
Hold on.
I just needed to know why.
Read between the lines, buddy.
Not one country.
I'm going to talk some sense into you after the show.
Not one country, Tabitha, has the ability to sustain nuclear damage from the United States. Not one. And all of these.
What do you? Okay, go back and explain what you just said, because that's not true.
China does not.
Explain that China's
getting good.
China does not have the ability to absorb a nuclear attack from the United States, no matter what you think. Russia would get annihilated as well. Iran would be. Everybody would be annihilated. Everybody.
That's
would
what
be
Armageddon is called, Eric. That's what Biden said. It's Armageddon.
When?
Putin said
you could say
yesterday.
World War III is coming, and that could be 40 years.
They actually use the word Armageddon.
This is the same
Putin
clown.
Actually said if we get any more money to Ukraine, he's launching the nuclear
weapons. This is the same president that said dark winter in COVID. Okay, so this is a guy that loves dark. He probably listens to scary movies all the time. So no, here's the deal. China does not want to blow up their country. Russia doesn't want to blow up their country.
You think let him finish.
Okay. Do you think that if they even put a tactical nuclear weapon into Ukraine that Putin doesn't think he would get annihilated? He would be annihilated. Here's what you have to be afraid of. China is coming over to Central America now. Okay. they're going to start putting bases in Brazil, and they're going to start bringing their troops up through Mexico.
Strong connection, Brazil and China,
Yes.
by the way.
And they're not going to start lobbing nuclear weaponry all over the place. They're going to avoid that. As a matter of fact, what they're going to do is they're going to hope that the Americans are so stupid as to destroy the dollar so that they can become the economic powerhouse of the country, of the world. They know winning a world war has nothing to do with tactical or thermonuclear weaponry. Everybody knows it. As soon as one of those things goes through the sky, Tabitha, everybody goes up into smoke. Period. Okay.
I don't disagree with you.
So
I don't
there
disagree
is no
with you.
Armageddon
She just says
coming.
it's going to happen.
Eric, I don't disagree with you. I understand that if a nuclear war starts, unless you're, I don't think that the whole world's going up because there's a lot of countries that would not participate. But I do think that it's an unlikely situation, the nuclear war, that nuclear weapon happens. But here's the thing. Think about where you're at from Putin's end. Putin, he doesn't care. If he thinks they're going to kill him anyway, what does he care? Because we had Lindsey Graham come out the other day and say, we need to take this guy out. And he knows there is a tag on his head. There's a target on his head.
It's his theater.
What is he willing to
Thou
do?
Thou shalt. What do you say, Eric? You shan't. You shalt.
You shan't.
You shan't push the button.
China is by far the bigger threat than Russia.
Absolutely. We are pussyfooting around with Russia right now when China is the one that is doing everything.
If one bomb is sent, Tabitha, everything goes
bye-bye.
And the entire world is gone.
I don't disagree with you.
And
I
here's
don't
the
disagree
other issue.
with you.
Yeah.
Besides, the one world order won't let this happen because they got to have the one world order first.
They got to have a world to have a one world order.
Yes.
But
and not to mention Xi Jinping, all of these
World War III is not happening in the next 2 years.
All of these guys
I think it will.
All of these guys are so egotistical.
Damn, I hope that I'm right.
I've been right about pretty much everything I've said over the past however many years.
Xi Jinping he's pissed.
Most things.
Xi Jinping is pissed enough that we blamed him for a balloon going across the country. He doesn't want to be the guy blamed for
balloon.
He doesn't want to be the guy blamed for blowing up China.
Virus.
Okay, seriously, this is not where you don't put your mind there.
Okay,
put your mind more into the chess pieces that are being moved. And when you think that you know what's going on, take a look in Central America. Take a look in Central America,
Eric,
and wait till you have aircraft carriers down in Brazil.
All right.
Go ahead.
Eric, we're told, at least from
Brazil would be against us, by the way, Eric.
Brazil's already against us.
Yes. So is India, by the way.
Any part of BRICS.
India will be siding with Russia and China.
And so will Saudi Arabia, so will Iran, so will Syria, so will Turkey, so will all of the world that is not part of Europe or the United States. They will all side against us.
Tabitha, the Facebook line and chat line says, Tabitha, please explain Moldova to Eric and Vic, because I don't even know what that means.
I think that a lot of
Do you have any idea what Moldova is, Eric?
I don't know in the context of what this is about.
I think that I think a lot of what's going on with Moldova is actually propaganda. I don't think a lot of it is true. In a lot of what happened is we had Moldova come out and say, and I believe even the United States FBI saying, well, Russia is planning a coup in Moldova to take over the country. They want to replace the government. They want to invade the country of Moldova. I personally think that that's all propaganda. I think that us, the United States, we're trying our hardest to get sympathy, not only from Americans, but from other countries to say Russia wants to take over Poland. They want to take over Romania. They want to take over the whole of Ukraine. They want to take over Moldova. They want to take over all of these different areas.
It sounds like more theater.
And I think a lot of it is just propaganda. I truly believe, and I think people think I'm naive for saying this, but I truly believe that Putin, whether we like him or not, I'm not saying he's a good guy. I think that he was very forthright in what he wanted to do. And that was he wanted to go into Ukraine and take over the eastern region. And he tried to have talks. He tried to do it peacefully. We wouldn't hear from it. We wouldn't hear it. Ukraine obviously said, no, we're not letting you take over the east. And he said, you know what? I'm going to invade you then. I don't think he wants to take over
Let me
Poland
ask you this.
or Moldova.
Let me ask you this.
Or
legitimate
Poland or
question.
else.
Legitimate question. And I saw this the other day. If you look at the eastern part of Ukraine right now, Tabitha, they've got everything they need. They got a pathway to the sea. They have a buffer between them and Russia. Even if they make it a demilitarized zone, if they negotiate right now, everybody can use this area. and Ukraine has the ability now to stop the war by saying, all right, we'll
They've
stop here.
always had the ability.
Let me ask you
always.
this. Let me ask you this. Would you be okay with Russia taking what they have right now, which is basically this little sliver that gets them to the sea, which is what they wanted. They wanted
Ukraine will not do it, and the United States will not do it.
Well, what do you think? Do you think that, okay, let's just stop this garbage now, negotiate, give them this, or make it a neutral thing?
I think it would all start. I think if they went to the negotiating table on Eric, none of this had to happen. This entire invasion never had to happen. They could have negotiated before it happened, and I understand why they didn't, and I understand why the invasion had to take place. But we, the United States, the West, Europe, we didn't have to continue this war. That blood is on our hands because we continue the fighting. This war would have been over a long time ago. How many times did Russia come and say, we want to negotiate? We just want these regions, the Luhansk, Donetsk, and we'll go back home. I truly think, and you guys don't have to agree with me, I truly think that had they negotiated, Russia would have taken those areas just like they did Crimea back in the day, and they would have went home. But we would not allow that to happen. We will still not allow it, and we will end up in World War III over this.
Okay. With that being said, it's not as easy and cut and dry as you make it out to be, Tabitha. Oh, yeah, we're just going to go take some land. Look at the Middle East. It is a situation.
I totally disagree with you.
It's not going to be solved in Russia and Ukraine. It won't be solved.
It's
never going to be solved.
Eric, gosh. Vic, no, I totally disagree with you.
I know you do. And it's all right for us to disagree. It's fine for us to disagree. But when you get into territorial issues and issues that have been going on for decades, my land, your land, my land, your land, all you have to do is look to the Middle East. It's the same issue, Tabitha. And it never really gets repaired. And even if land is given to somebody, or people don't forget, and it's not going to stop. So we can say, well, it coulda, woulda, shoulda. All that matters is what's moving forward.
Well, what if the United States?
The issue we have. And so when's World War III happening?
I honestly think it's going to happen.
You're on record now as saying it's happening in the next 2 years.
I think it'll happen between 2023 and 2024 for sure. I think sooner rather than later.
World War.
Sooner, yes,
but
absolutely.
Once again, though,
we're almost there already.
Americans and humans, Tabitha, we've seen movies. The problem is you're associating World War for what most people don't consider to be World War. World War, massive violence, bombs going off, fighting at the borders. That doesn't
have to be what World War
means.
Means.
Then you need to say, in your opinion, what you think. Not everybody else, maybe what you think World War is, because you think we're in World War now. So we have to be fair about what you actually say World War III is, so that people don't think like most people think a world war is.
I and many other people do think this is a world war, because you know what we're doing right now?
Okay, no, but what is your definition?
Well, I was going to tell you that. My definition of that is the fact that we, the United States and Europe, we are sending and we are supplying the war in Ukraine. We are contributing. And if we weren't contributing, none of this would be happening. This bloodshed would have ended a long time ago.
So that's what you consider being
Ukraine
in a world war.
would have been out of artillery. Mm-hmm. They would have been out of weapons. They would have been out of troops.
They would have been out of luck.
and I support the people of Ukraine. I'm not against the people of Ukraine.
You actually don't.
We're all
okay.
Yes, I do.
So
yes,
you say a world war that we're involved is us giving
I
support
see
to Ukraine
as the West.
That's right. That's what you think.
The West being the United States. Well, I think when we have troops on our soil, we are training them. We are giving them missiles. We are giving them our defense systems, and we have soldiers in Poland. There's a lot of people.
Do you know that we've been doing that with several countries over the past 50 years?
Every country does it.
We've been training soldiers from other countries in the little wars that they're having in this country. So then you would have to say, under your definition,
but not to this
that
degree.
We've been in World War for 50 years.
Not to this degree, no. This is coming out to be Europe and the United States against everyone else. And it really, what it comes down to is NATO against
this
BRICS.
This is just bad leadership. And I keep going back to Trump. I keep going back to, I think Tabitha's kind of right. I think she's kind of wrong. But
I agree.
Same thing is, if it was Trump, I hate to think that this guy wouldn't be on an airplane, Air Force One, just to wherever over in Switzerland talk. Hey, Putin, I got to talk to you, man. Come on. Let's figure this out. Well, and he did it with Kim Jong-un. He went over to the demilitarized section. There was no problem. There were no missiles going over to Japan when he was there. It was a bloodfest. He was there. He did the same thing with Putin. He said, look, I've talked to Putin. We're cool. We're cool. There's nothing going on. Joe Biden has been very antagonistic towards Putin. He's been very like, no, we want to bring NATO in to Ukraine. And Putin's like, wait a minute. You're going to put NATO right on my back door? Come, what's wrong? I'm done with this. We're going in right now. I think that we're in an era where leaders can actually talk to each other and avoid wars.
What?
And avoid.
Come on, Eric. You were the most.
Look at what
the sweetest person.
You love Trump. No. Don't talk out of Don't talk out of this side of your mouth and then this side of your mouth. You love Trump.
I'm saying the same thing.
You love Trump.
Sometimes you do that.
How am I? No, I
don't. You love Trump.
Of course I love Trump.
You love Trump. And you would be the first to agree, say, Trump's the kind of cat.
That's called critical thinking.
Trump,
means everything doesn't have to be in one basket.
You would be able to say, Trump's the kind of cat.
Been in office.
Trump's the kind of cat
correct.
that would be able to go talk to Putin, even through the media, say, man, I like this guy. This guy's not going to do anything. If he would just have said that at a press conference, says, yeah, I've talked to him. He's not going to do anything. He's cool.
I absolutely
we're cool
agree.
With him.
This would
As a matter of fact, what we want to do,
Trump were president,
what we
want
to, I understand that. So what I'm telling you is, to me, and I don't mean to sound out argumentative, Biden is the source of everything going on.
He's the antagonist for sure.
Okay.
Or who's ever controlling.
Yeah, I don't. I know that I sound.
Biden's not smart enough to do
Eric,
this
you're
on
right.
his own.
I know that I sound like I'm. I think that I'm feeling what you're feeling with this World War III thing. I feel like Biden is flying a plane with no wings and doesn't know how to fix it.
There's where I don't agree. You know why? A, Biden is just the puppet. But B, I think and this is why I think we're going to end up in a true World War III. And it's going to be between NATO and BRICS. And the reason why I believe that is because you see the writing on the wall. You see what our government is doing right now. They're poking, and they know the consequences of that poking, but yet they continue to do it.
I know. I agree. But when we say World War, we have to make sure we understand
World
what that
War
means.
Now is going to be very different than World War in the past. Yeah. Very different. Yeah. Very different.
Whenever you say World War, I just hope you explain that.
I don't expect bombers to over our country dropping bombs.
That's what I'm saying, because that's not happening.
I don't expect
World
that
War.
To happen.
Okay, let's just put this stage together. World War is when you have every country mobilizing their army, and they're on a frigate or they're on a jet, or they're transporting things to certain parts of the world as military action begins to happen. That's a world war. The Cold War was not a world war. Ukraine.
But Tabitha would have called that but she would have called that World War.
That was not a world war.
Well, no, I think we're heading into violence.
Bay of Pigs
the difference
was not a world war.
No. This is why I call it a world war. I'm not saying Cold War with intent, because I do think violence is already taking place. We can't be, just because we're Americans and our country in our lifetimes has never been invaded. We've not seen bombs dropping down upon us. Doesn't mean it can't ever happen. And now think of the technology.
We saw it in World War
China
II in
has.
Hawaii. Yes,
in Hawaii, yes, but not here on the mainland USA. And so most of us, I feel, can be fairly naive, thinking it can never happen here. We can never have boots on the ground here. But war, we have to remember, is still being fought in combat style. It's happening right now in Ukraine. Right now, the average life of a Ukrainian troop on the Ukrainian border is 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, combat is still happening. I don't think it's going to happen here.
If enemy boots arrived on the soil, there would be bombs in other countries, and so
it sure would. There's no question
another
about
thing
it.
that Tabitha's right about.
To think it can't happen.
And
I don't mean you personally.
Here's another thing. But here's another thing Tabitha's right about.
Just the chances are very small.
Here's another thing. This is important. So this whole COVID thing, last night on Tucker Carlson, she came out as she's a virologist. She used to work at the Wuhan laboratory. She said that the coronavirus was an intentional release of COVID-19, not an accidental release.
Yep. Act of war.
It was an act of war. Exactly right. That they did this thing on purpose.
So we're in World War III right now.
Now, to me, these are things that nuclear weapons are easy. As a matter of fact, they're rusting in storage right now. What's the new crap? The new crap is digital. The new crap is biological. The new crap is electromagnetic pulses.
Absolutely. It's satellites. Think about the satellite capabilities.
So nothing that Tabitha says is wrong. It's just the tactics you have to watch out for.
But is it, Eric? But is it? Because we have to remember, if it's so easy to use EMPs, if it's so easy to use
It's not.
satellites, then why is it that Russia has troops, thousands of troops, 1 million troops on the ground in Ukraine? Why did Ukraine recruit
Because
every
I'll tell
fighting
you why.
age person they
Can I
have
tell you why?
if they could just shoot a
Can I tell
satellite
you
down
why?
at Russia?
Can I tell you why?
It's not that
Because
easy.
Putin is a child of the 80s, like myself.
He is not a child of the
I would love
80s.
to bring back Ozzy Osbourne as the #1 hit song.
By the way,
So, but here's the deal. Let me finish this. Because this is a guy that has romanticized in his mind bringing back the Soviet Union. Millennials don't fantasize about that. Gen X doesn't fantasize about that, but the leader of Russia fantasizes about overturning what Gorbachev did.
Why did we just?
That's why.
Why did we just send 200 troops to Taiwan? Don't tell me that there's not a possibility that there will be combat fighting if we end up in a war. Because I don't think it's as easy as saying,
Not
well,
with
we're just going
American
to
troops.
Again,
zap everybody with
let me
satellites.
go back to the
Not
statement.
We're going to send an EMP down.
China is not the China of 1984. It is a much bigger
China
entity
is
now.
a very formidable
China
force.
wants what it wants. China wants to get Taiwan back. It has nothing to do with the U.S. It has nothing to do with Europe. It has nothing to do with North Africa. China wants Taiwan.
Yes.
There is a geopolitical cost to doing that.
Of course they do.
Okay? If Mexico came and took Texas, one of our presidents would say, I want Texas back.
Game on.
I don't care what
Eric,
China says. I want
but
Texas
China,
back.
China is our #1 enemy. It's not Russia. It's China. Because you know what? Everything in this room, I'll bet you, was made in China. Every medication you take, I'll bet you it was made in China. A good portion of your food, guess what? Made in China.
You're right.
We will be in China
Yes.
owns us.
Yes.
We can't fight with them. We just need to give them Taiwan and say, hey, be done with it. Give us our medicine and our Diet Coke.
That's not.
Wait a minute.
I'm
What did
teasing.
she just say?
I'm
My
kidding.
headphones
I'm
aren't
just-
working that well. Vic, can you
I'm
repeat what you
kidding.
just said?
Let me decipher
I'm just
this.
kidding.
Come on, man.
I'm just
Tabitha is going.
I thought you were going
off
to say
the
Tabitha
rails.
is nuts.
No, I'm totally kidding. But China does legitimately make diet soda. If you don't have
Which is terrible for you.
I don't drink
With
diet
COVID.
soda. But I was
Coca COVID. See, I'm helping him out. Coca COVID from China.
and they do create a majority of our medications. They absolutely do create the majority of our surgical
Ooh,
products.
I
that's
just
cola.
believe the one world order will be said. They're going to have their say, Tabitha, before countries are being blown up all over the place. And
Eric, do you? Well,
there's massive dark
Yeah.
clouds. And
how old is your oldest son?
my oldest is 18.
He's in
Eric, how
trouble.
old is your son?
25.
Would you be okay with sending them to war if there was a draft? Because we got
Sending
into
him,
a
I would
war
have nothing to do with it.
with Russia and China.
We
would
got to
have
get,
nothing
we
to
got
do
to
with
get,
it.
we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'll answer that question. And we'll also hear from Joe Biden, who had another Biden moment yesterday. I'm glad that they roll him out over and over and over again so that people see and remember the worst president in the history of the United States over and over. So we never, ever, 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 ever allow something like this to happen again, at least what we can control when it comes to voting, because this man on a daily basis shows why he is unfit for office and why we went from one of the best leaders of all time to the worst president in the history of this country. Just you'll hear him again yesterday. Oh my God. Also, Tabitha, Eric brought up Trump. Ron DeSantis has a new book out.
I saw it.
And
we need to get him on to talk about it.
And it's
he's all over the place.
all about him getting ready to run for president.
It's game on, dog.
It is game on.
It sounds that way.
This
Let-
is
let the
exactly the
chips-
same way.
Let
This
the
is
chips fall where they may.
This is exactly the
And-
same way I felt when Brady said I retired and he might be coming back to Tampa Bay. I was like, is he coming back to Tampa? There's no
It's
difference in the way
interesting
I
that
feel.
you use a Florida reference too.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
CancelThisShow.com. Tim on the board. Scotty in Florida helping out. We've got Lizzie. I don't know. She may be in Florida too, running the chat
He
line.
is. She'll be back tomorrow.
Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. CancelThisShow.com. Like, subscribe, share the show on all of our platforms. Let people know what we're doing. If you want to take a break, we're gone for about 2 minutes. Back in 2 minutes with more. CancelThisShow.com.
This is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local athletes to injured workers and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com, DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
You've waited, and now it's here. The unveiling of the latest Carroll House lifestyle collections. I'm Brooke with my sister Amy, inviting you to see 3 football fields of the latest styles.
Our new lifestyle collections are premium quality furniture made exclusively for us and available only at Carroll House.
The attention to detail is unmatched, and so is the value, nearly half the price of a typical gallery store.
Plus, get free financing, delivery, and in-home design. Carroll House, because you like nice things.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com. Kathy L. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back into cancelthisshow.com. Yeah, you won't want to miss our free-for-all Friday coming up this Friday. Tabitha's already got two good stories coming up. By the way, if you guys have video, if you have ideas, if you have interviews, you let us know. I mean, I know we've already had some of the big wigs with George Norrie coming on the show just a few weeks ago, but you let us know what you got.
Friday is going to be so fun.
When you combine good housekeeping with catastrophic events, with the Navy admitting to UFOs now, near misses, battles, it literally is like Independence Day, or it sounds like the beginning of the movie.
Are you glad to be living in this era, or would you rather be in the 50s, where it was just kind of normal?
That's a good question. Would I rather be living now or in the 70s? Well, I'm getting all these questions today. Okay, here's the deal. If I could go back to any generation or any decade, it would be the 80s.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can. We're going to invent the hot tub time machine.
As a little kid growing up in the 80s, yes, I loved it. Yeah. But you don't realize how good it is until you don't have it anymore.
And that's also because we were kids, not adults.
That's the problem. You weren't a kid. You were an adult in the 80s.
Stop. I think kids during any generation.
You were a young adult in the 80s.
Love their generation. And adults in any generation fear for their country, fear for their lives, and everything else.
Eric, I think I'm taking the 50s over right now.
Oh, absolutely. Could you imagine going to a sock
even though
hop?
I didn't
Not
live to
me. I don't
Could you imagine going to
every
a
day
sock
and
hop?
clean the house.
Oh, stop it. Of course.
I'm teasing.
Come on.
You're such a feminist.
If you were in the 50s, you would have had new appliances then. You would have been
not if I was poor in the 50s.
Stoves.
I would have been cooking on a dirt floor.
You would have had to have hoop dresses at dances, sock hops.
Eric, I was thinking about you last night
man.
in the 80s, because I watched the behind-the-scenes special.
Here we go.
On Motley Crue.
Yeah.
And
been there, done that.
and everything that was going on, because you knew those guys and Vince Neil and all the problems he had. And of course, they all sound the same. And then how the 80s were it was fun, love, just you name it.
Yeah, it was
no concerns, big hair.
It was weird. Fun. It was just weird. I felt if you were in a band,
I don't know how any of you guys lived through the 80s. I mean, how could you drink every day, do drugs every day?
I didn't do drugs.
No,
I didn't do
you,
drugs.
But these guys,
you were like 12 or
I was still
10 in the
an
80s.
No, but a lot of these guys are still alive, and I don't how you could be drinking fifths and shooting coke on a daily basis, and they're still here alive.
Eric was a kid.
I was a kid.
He
but
wasn't doing
I was on
coke
tour.
and drugs.
I was on tour during that whole time.
In the 80s? No way.
At the late 80s. That's when I started. Yes, I was coming up.
You were like a kid.
St. Louis. I wish I will do a whole show on St. Louis music scene. I will. You will blow your mind. But the thing about it was,
Paul says not for long, Vic. Those guys are
no true story.
Their hearts are still ticking, though.
Yeah, barely. But the thing is, so the 80s was this thing. The word was decadence. Okay.
Yeah.
Zeppelin kind of started it by the whole in the Who by throwing TVs out of hotel rooms, and I think that bands back in the day, and because I hung out with a lot of them, I think that if they didn't do something decadent, whether it was 40 chicks in the hotel room or it was throwing couches out in the hallway or whatever it was, they felt like they weren't doing their job. I'm serious about that too. Even the bands that you would think
had to live up to
I
the
didn't even
lifestyle.
get us.
Even the
far
bands
off,
that
but
I have stories about a lot of bands, but I would never tell them because what happens on the road stays on the road. Even the bands that you would think, how in the hell is Head East? Never mind. How in the hell is this band so destructive? Because they knew that they had to be part of the decadent dance.
Times have changed.
I know. Now you see these bands and they're so polite. They arrive at the show. Hello, where's catering? Is there any fish back there? Great, because I have to get back to the hotel and watch a reality TV show. So,
well, yeah,
and it's so nice and proper now.
So liberal these days.
Yeah,
Breaking the Band followed that with David Copperfield.
Can you please get your socks off the bus floor? Thank you.
Oh
no, that was never the way it was with that. Never.
This is cancelthisshow.com. That's Eric Johnson, a band member, Platinum Rock Legends, former member of Shooting Star as well, if people don't know. Yes. Tabitha Hassel, I'm Vic Faust, Tim on the boards. Lizzie's on the chat line, and we've got Scotty in Florida helping out when he is needed. By the way, we got to pray for our buddy Scott. He got held up in Florida. Did you guys know this?
No.
His ear infection's still going on.
Oh, I thought you meant like Rob.
He had to get an injection. He had another injection. He can't even fly.
Poor thing. I did not know that. I did not. Yeah, because flying really messes with your ears.
He can't fly back until Thursday now.
I had no idea.
He says he's alive. He's on the chat line.
Oh, Scotty, anyway, I'm sorry. He's so sweet.
We miss you.
Hear that.
Oh, Eric, I don't want to get off the subject yet.
What?
Is this true? Dee Snider never drank, did drugs, smoked.
There's a lot of guys
warmed
like
up
that.
Vocally before shows.
Yeah, we opened up for Damn Yankees one time, and Nugent was the same way. He would get really pissed if he saw people drink. He didn't drink. He didn't do drugs. He didn't do anything. He was like a man's man. He was a man's man.
He liked the late night activities.
But yeah, he was a ladies' man.
Yeah,
for sure. But he was disgusted if there weren't a lot of
Brett Michaels doesn't drink. He's a diabetic.
Not anymore.
Yeah, there were only
seriously, he's a serious diabetic. He can't have alcohol.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought he was drinking when Poison was going on.
Nope. He's because I went to a party with them. Nope.
He's been in dire straits for many years.
He invited you to a party?
It's a long story that we don't have time to get into today. But I did. Yeah. I was already at the party, and their tour bus stopped at the party.
I won't forget you.
Yeah. It was an interesting time. Those times have changed.
All right.
I would have liked to have been around when Hendrix was around. Those guys partied interestingly as well. You
wouldn't have made it.
They had the psychedelics. That was the psychedelic era.
You wouldn't have made it.
I wouldn't have made it.
No.
I wouldn't have been
I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
Well, now they don't do drugs because they're too worried about saving the environment.
Leave it to Tabitha.
Yeah, Tabitha, stop being such a buzzkill. Stop being such a buzzkill.
Hey, you asked me before we went to break, would I be fine with my 18-year-old son being drafted to go to war? Go to war where?
Okay. If what the situation right now in Ukraine with Russia,
oh my God,
and China, that's the only war on the front line right now, Vic. It's if there's going to be a draft, it's going to be because of this. I know me personally, and some people on the comment line have said, no, I don't want my child fighting in this war.
Hell no. Because We're not in the war.
Well, we don't have a major.
I'm going to kick you off that chair.
I was looking at
I just don't know why.
I'm violent
I
today,
would
Vic.
not. I would not be happy, not be thrilled, not for that. No.
No.
If it's protecting our country and our
We
borders,
have to protect our country. I agree
then
with that.
I would understand. I would not be happy. But think about the greatest generation and what those people did. And I've talked about my grandpa, in D-Day and Normandy and being alive, and my dad being named after a guy that saved his life. So yeah,
and those guys are heroes.
Those are the sacrifices. Those are the heroes. And of course, our younger generation, as the polling showed, 17 to 24-year-olds, 90% would not even be fit to serve military service right now.
Yeah, that's horrible.
What about you, Eric? Your son's 25. If you found out, let's say, and this is clearly hypothetical, that in 2 months from now, they say, okay, we are at war with Russia and China, NATO against BRICS. We're drafting everyone 18 to 36 years old. How would you feel about that? Would you feel like, hey, my son's, needs to be a hero, get on over there, support your country, fight for your country? Or would you be out protesting like they did during Vietnam and say, we shouldn't be the police of the world. We shouldn't be involved in this war because what happens in Ukraine has absolutely nothing to do with us.
I think Bryce would lead the skateboarders brigade. like 1,000 skateboarders just smacking people in the head with their boards. I don't know, man. There won't be a draft because when the Japanese came over that mountain and started destroying Pearl Harbor, it was like, mount up, let's go. There was no
that wouldn't happen. That would never happen again.
When the planes
that will not happen again.
Really?
No.
When the planes flew.
That's why I don't like talking about hypotheticals because we don't know.
Well, and we don't know. And me saying that, I don't know. That's my opinion. Eric, during World War II, my grandfather was, I believe, 16 years old. He lied about his age. He joined the military. He joined the Navy. He was in Pearl Harbor. He watched Hiroshima. He was at Iwo Jima. He was in all these different places on a Navy ship. And he talked about it his entire diehard patriot. I hate to say this because I love this country. I love our military. I love our young folks. I really don't think that the fighting age people in this country are patriots like they were back in the day. And maybe it's not because they don't love the country. Maybe it's because the war that we're fighting over there isn't something we should be involved in.
I think it's fair.
Know.
I think it's fair for you to be in the military and say, you want me to go where and fight against who? I think that's completely fair
because most Americans don't feel as if we're in that war, Tabitha. That's you're intelligent. You study it,
but I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about in the event when we are in the war, we are here, we are sending people over. How do you feel about that?
I mean, because here's the thing: when they flew the planes into that,
Tim, can you get the
World Trade Center,
can you get the Biden sound ready in the meantime?
Yeah, because that's the guy who's going to be leading us.
When they flew the planes into the tower. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of people that saw that optically,
and
they went. And, I mean,
absolutely. But that's a different situation than this.
No, it's not.
Very different.
No, it's not.
Because so many Americans think that this whole situation with Ukraine being
there's no
the fact that Ukraine is such
Ukraine.
a puppet country.
There's no one
only
even
a few people think that, Tabitha.
I think a good portion of
the majority of Americans aren't even intelligent enough about what's happening
get us into
with
World War
III. She wants us in World War III.
I'm telling you what, don't listen to Tabitha. We will be going to war.
If we
had
true.
Tabitha, if we had a strong presidential leader, if we had strong Congress on TV, there's and I know that I can say this. If you had a man like Donald Trump standing up talking about if we were ever invaded again, are you kidding me?
Invaded, yes, that's a different story.
Across seas, nobody's ever going to get excited about going over there because it doesn't. Yeah,
it doesn't affect us, does it?
And then you have a leader like this. We've seen all the Biden moments, and I'm sorry, he provides us with daily comedic relief, daily fodder. It's right in front of our face. Check out Joe Biden yesterday. He was 2 nights ago playing to an African American group as part of a Black History Month in February.
Oh boy!
Here's Joe Biden, your leader of the free world.
This can't go good.
I know real power when I see it. Divine Nine. We're honored to have all the presidents here tonight. And I want to thank him. And by the way, I'm not. I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. I know where the power is. You think I'm joking? I learned a long time ago about the Divine Nine. That's why I spent so much time at Delaware State campaigning and organizing my campaign.
Okay.
I might be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. Well, first of all, you are stupid.
I mean, what?
First, well, let's get past that one first. You're a dumbass.
Why would he say that?
Which one was that? Which president was that, by the way?
I didn't see the video.
Which president was that? Any idea? Was that the one with the
I wasn't
forehead or the one with the smooth forehead?
Producer Tim might want to play it again. I wasn't watching it. I was looking at some.
No, that's got to be Biden one.
That's the real one,
because the second one wouldn't say something as stupid as that.
I might be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. No, you are stupid.
Well, if one,
I might be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. I mean,
that's like the dumbest thing ever.
It's like on a daily basis we get these things from him. Is that going to motivate you to want to go fight for your country, to do anything? Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. What the hell, Biden?
Again,
on a daily basis.
This is a guy that's
and I'm sorry if people voted for him. My God.
Just once. He's running again, apparently. He's just waiting for his perfect time.
Oh my God.
So ridiculous.
So anyway,
don't you think that by itself shows no leadership? If you're that convicted in what you're doing, you're like, I cannot wait to run again. I don't care if I'm 120 years old. Doesn't matter. What I'm doing is kicking ass. Look at me. I'm like the Albert Pujols of presidents. Check me out. No, he doesn't do any of that. He has no conviction whatsoever.
If Trump said this, what do you think the outrage would be compared to Biden? Why does Biden always have to make a racial comment every single time? He cannot stop himself
because
from doing
he
it.
Won on the racial vote. That's why. Because his extremists that are in his Oval Office are racialists, like AOC.
Do you remember me on Monday telling you a friend that grabbed me over the weekend and said, Vic, I listened to your show. Now, he never comments. He's a black man. He's a younger black man. And I remember I told you, he's like, you got to stop making fun of Biden on your show. And I said, well, I'm not, my friend.
Why would he say something that ridiculous?
And I said, well, I'm not trying to. He's like,
he's making fun of himself.
He's like, Vic, I love you, but I like Biden. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because he's the best president. I'm like, buddy,
oh my God.
I'm trying to save his name. I was like, what has he done for this country? And you know what he said? Well, he's provided us more jobs than any president that ever has.
That's actually wrong.
And then he kind of laughed and he's like, well, maybe it has something to do with jobs coming back from COVID, but he's still the president. And he was serious.
Can I get his number?
He's a millennial.
Can I get his number?
He's a millennial black man. Yes.
Can we call him right now?
You'd probably have fun hanging out and partying with him.
Well, fine. No, I'll party with anybody. I'll party with Obama. I don't care.
I've asked him to join.
Just don't run for president.
And maybe at some point he will. He's also a former St. Louis County police officer.
I'm just going to shut up right now.
I'm going
to sit here and look at that screen.
I'm shooting it straight for you.
Okay.
I am.
Good luck.
I have the clip ready one more time if you want to see
What clip?
The
Biden
clip.
Sure.
Why
Let's
not?
listen to him again. He's not dumb.
I might be a white boy, but I'm not dumb. That's my new bumper sticker.
You know, I know real power when I see it. The Divine Nine. We're honored to have all the presidents here tonight. And I want to thank him. And by the way, you know, I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. I know where the power is.
That's not the same Biden.
I know where the power. You think I'm joking? I learned a long time ago about the Divine Nine. That's why I spent so much time at Delaware State campaigning and organizing my campaign.
I think I agree with you, Ted.
That's definitely not the same guy.
He moves quicker.
Well, this is the Biden.
He has some dexterity.
He has the thin
I would listen to this
face.
show just
the other
for
guy
this.
has the jowly face. They have different noses.
Okay, wait a second. Can we just pop a picture back up of him, Tim, whenever you get a chance? We don't need the whole thing. I'm just curious. Okay, who has the square chin?
I have plenty of
real
pictures.
Biden or fake Biden?
I don't know if anybody can see this. That is
all right.
It's difficult. I appreciate you trying.
Yeah, bring up Tabitha's
That's
camera.
the fake Biden. This is fake Biden.
Neither one of them looks
This
human.
is real Biden. I don't know how well you can see that and see the difference in the faces.
That one looks. Never mind. God.
But look at the difference. This is the real Biden, Vic. You can see it. You're closer to me.
Absolutely.
What a different person. That's the real.
That's
Biden.
real Biden.
What,
no
and
doubt.
how different is that than this?
Donk.
A listener reminded me yesterday, and I didn't see the comment during the show,
sorry.
that we all need to go and see the movie Dave, because remember the movie Dave from a long time ago?
Biden.
This picture is not the real Biden.
300.
This guy is the real Biden. See the difference, Vic?
Oh my God, you're right.
This guy is the real Biden.
350 million people in
This
the
guy
United States.
Oh,
And this is
the real
best,
Biden, Vic.
and this is the best that we could find. 350 million people on this great country. The country that brought us George Washington, the country that brought us Willie Mays, the country that brought us Ronald Reagan, JFK, and we have Joe Biden is the only one out of 350 million people that we could find.
Well, at least
it is unbelievable.
We've got 2 of them.
And he's going to run again.
We've at least got 2 of them. And you know what?
We have 2 presidents.
I am convinced there are 2 Joe Bidens.
Oh, if not more than 2. For sure 2.
As crazy as that sounds, Eric, because I continue to see those videos, those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same person.
And sometimes
it's just not.
There's no way it's the same person. The one guy, the real Biden, is very jowly. His face is much fuller. He has a lot of overhang on his neck.
Okay.
His forehead is fairly straight.
I don't
and
think it's
smooth.
crazy to say it, Eric. I really don't.
And this other guy,
I'm starting to see day after day pictures of 2 different people.
Couldn't it be just he has his own personal Botox specialist or something like that? Is that possible?
Botox doesn't work that way.
It doesn't change face structure.
No, it
What
doesn't.
about
it doesn't make your face fat one day. The guy that went to Ukraine had a fatter, more jowly face and the bigger nose like the real Biden.
And he fell on the stairs.
Man, why could
so we know that's legit.
Seriously, it's an old movie. Go watch the movie Dave. It's a fantastic movie. And it talks about how the real president is shot. And so they recruit a fake president to take his place.
I saw the movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
I saw the movie.
Trust me, it is happening here. It's happening in other
I think
countries.
there was a Borat movie like that, wasn't there? Wasn't it Borat?
Hey, while we're speaking of presidents, Ron DeSantis, who very well could be, he's running. He's running for president. I'm just telling you.
I like DeSantis.
It'll
be interesting to see how it.
Oh boy!
No.
Oh boy! Bye everybody. I'll see you next week.
Oh, stop! I'm not saying we have talked about this how many times. I have always said that Trump deserves his second term, but that doesn't mean DeSantis is a bad guy.
Wow, that's a nice looking shirt you got on, Kev.
I like to move it.
I like the shirt.
You're moving your opinion.
Oh, she's back.
I didn't change my opinion. I've always said the same thing.
Move it. Okay.
I have been very consistent with my opinion that I think Trump should run in 2024 and DeSantis in 2028.
I need to go and
Trump deserves his second term that he was cheated out of. But I love DeSantis. But
You're
there's a lot of
out of both sides again.
That's not speaking out of both sides.
It's
That's
an
called
art.
Critical,
it is an art. I will
that's
say
called
that.
Critical thinking that
Did you
most
go
men
to
aren't
school?
capable of.
It's like someone that can play guitar at
Not
two
only are
guitars
men,
at the same time.
Not only are men not capable
There
of
she
critical
is.
thinking, but they're not capable of hearing it and
That's
understanding it.
sexist.
Yes,
That
it
is
is.
sexist.
Thank you.
She's sexist. Look
You
at how
should
sexist
stop
she
that
is.
right now.
Oh my God.
Kevin
Okay.
from Strategic Air Services is looking at me like I'm leaving.
Like you're nuts is what he's looking at you like.
He's great.
The Courage to Be Free is Ron DeSantis' new book. Of course, Fox News promoting him live on air this morning. When's the last time Donald Trump was getting a live interview on Fox News?
We know Donald, though. We know Donald well enough, man. We do. We know what he's going to do. DeSantis is the new.
I'm telling you.
DeSantis. Am I wrong, Kevin? DeSantis is the new chosen one. He's the new golden boy. He's the new Trump. I'm sorry. He's the one that people talk about.
Or is he not?
Now, I will say this. He pulled at 23% right under Trump's 43%. That's interesting.
I just wish he'd wait till 2028. I really do like DeSantis. I know people say
He's not waiting.
It appears that he's not waiting.
This book,
it appears he's not waiting.
This book is going to be released right before he plunges right into the presidential election.
But what will happen?
Also, the tour that he did 2 weeks ago. So it's
how do you see this playing out? Trump and DeSantis running against each other. How do you see this playing out?
I see one that has an oratorial skill that he won't have to use New York style tactics. I see one that is going to bring every gangster way that he can to try to break down. Remember when Lucy would pull the football away from Charlie Brown and he was trying to kick the field goal?
Psych.
Remember that? That's what Trump will be doing. He'll be trying to break DeSantis down with his words, and DeSantis will forget about it, and he will build himself up with his words. DeSantis will. Am I lying, Kevin? Kevin, tell me I'm not nuts.
I don't want any part of this conversation. He's leaving.
And you know what DeSantis will do? He'll go and he'll say Trump was amazing. He was amazing at what he did, but it's time to turn the page, and that will be his whole platform.
But they're fighting. They're fighting. In fact,
I think he's fighting. Trump's fighting with DeSantis. DeSantis is not fighting with Trump.
Well, Trump made comments again yesterday against DeSantis. He was very upset that Fox National has been catering to DeSantis. So now he's calling out.
And they're going to continue to cater to Ron DeSantis.
Yes, they will.
That's why. Because
they're ultimately anti-Trump.
Because the story
this morning was his book release. Yeah. And they're interviewing him live about it, which is, okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going to see where it all goes. Also, another interesting story that has come out when it comes to Patrick Mahomes' wife. Not much about her.
I know very little.
She's a nut job.
Brittany Mahomes. She called out Joe Rogan.
I got to take a look at her now.
Joe Rogan. She's like, these are just grown men talking crap.
And that's true.
So it's like politics.
You guys set up the story, though.
Because they were talking in a recent episode about how a divorce should probably happen or could be happening. Patrick with his brother and Patrick with his wife, because in the past, both have been very, let's just say, media houndish.
Circus-like.
Yeah, the brother more so. His wife likes to go out in social media a lot and talk and say things and get stuff going. So she says there's something about grown men talking crap about someone's wife. That's really weird, because they were talking about Mahomes being this great guy and ripping his wife. We got a lot of Kansas City Chief fans that listen to this podcast, not only in the state of Missouri, but around the country. So it is interesting when you start talking about people's wives.
Did people agree or did they
and
disagree?
Their brothers. Well, I don't know. I guess that depends on the person.
I don't know anything about
room
this.
Talk. It's you're Mahomes. You're the best quarterback currently on the planet, and you got this wife that is just a nut job, along with Mahomes' brother, who's a nut job as well. And they're basically partying as you're winning Super Bowls. That's all they were talking about.
Well, she told people last week they need to apologize to Patrick and the Chiefs for saying that they were not going to be very good this year at the beginning of the season.
No, they don't. That's what prognosticators do. It's not our job to know if you're going to be in the Super Bowl. It's your job to go win the Super Bowl.
So
I told everybody I thought that this was going to be I thought that Tampa Bay was going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I was totally wrong.
And so we had to get that out there too. Another massive, massive story that we're going to have more on in the next coming days is what's going on now. We've talked about it a little bit when this podcast first began. The Supreme Court is now reviewing the student loan debt handout plan regarding all kinds of debt that I shouldn't say but the president of the United States, Joe Biden, and his team are trying to deal with. You're talking about as much as $20,000 per person being eliminated just like that. Republicans 100% against it. Democrats 100% for it. Is this a play for votes right before an election? Is it fair? Because lots of people have debt, Republicans and Democrats, people who support Joe Biden who don't. Are you somebody who wants your debt eliminated at whatever cost it means to the country?
And this is going before the Supreme Court, correct?
Yeah, the Supreme Court's set to hear the arguments today. So they're going to hear the arguments, and then they'll go back and see what they can do.
Do you want to take a shot at prognosticating this one?
I don't know.
I will. It will get shot down, and I'll tell you why.
Please.
Because Nancy Pelosi already said on camera that the executive can't do this. The executive branch has said, I don't think I can do this. They can't do it. They do not hold any purse strings. They do not have the ability to do anything as far as forgiving this debt. They just don't.
But it was never about forgiving debt. It was always
they were
about
also
votes.
doing it under.
It was always about votes.
It was always also about the emergency whatever for the COVID emergency.
It was always
act,
about
whatever.
free stuff to
Right.
get votes.
And that's
Always,
true.
always,
So
always.
they're but this, you know what, Drew Collins, this helps you out a little bit because now Biden can say, look, I tried, but I'll try again if you vote me back in.
And those darn Republicans turned it down.
Well, the basics for it, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, it would eliminate $10,000 in federal student loans for individuals making less than $125,000 per year or households who are earning less than $250,000 annually. That was as of 2020 and 2021. Now, there's also Pell Grants. You might be familiar with the Pell Grant. That usually, to get that, you have to demonstrate some sort of financial need. They would receive an additional $20,000 in debt cancellation, and those loans would have to be dispersed prior to July 1st of 2022. So
not going to happen.
That's a lot of money for, we're talking about 43 million student loan borrowers they're eligible in this plan. 43 million.
Your money paying for these student debt. Think about that.
26 million have already applied for that money.
Yeah. And that's your money. That's your earned money. If you're listening to the show, it's your money that's paying to forgive the student debt of these other folks.
Is it fair for people who've paid back debts?
Absolutely.
This is not fair on any level.
It's
this is not fair for any level, because I'll tell you what, I will subpoena, I will reach out to the White House to forgive mortgages. But here's the thing about it. Even if you get $20,000 in debt relieved, let's say you are a lawyer now and you have to pay $200,000 in education payback, right? Let's say your tuition was $200,000. Now you have to pay back $180,000. Woo, big deal. But it basically bankrupts the country just that much more. That's all it does.
We're already, what, 31 trillion in debt?
It's a drop in the bucket for the actual student, but to the United States, it now devalues the American dollar just that much more.
The estimated cost for American taxpayers would be $400 billion. $400 billion.
I thought it was $1 trillion.
Over the next 3 years, if fully implemented.
I thought it was $1 trillion.
Aren't you tired of giving your money away to everyone else? Because that's what we're doing. We're giving away our money to everyone else. 73 cents of every dollar you make ends up back in the tax bracket. Every single dollar you make.
But could it also be a sign to colleges as well?
And that's where we need to go with this.
Because
they need to drop those tuition prices.
Because the tuition it just continues to go up and up and up and up and up.
Astronomical.
And that's an issue. It's a massive, massive problem.
Big issue.
And, it's just another issue that this presidency has brought forward, because this is a Democratic plan. Republicans are speaking out against it. Democrats are not. Is it a ploy? Is it what Eric was talking about regarding the situation? Oh, you know what? Yeah. We're trying to help all you out. We're doing whatever we can to take care of things for you.
Forget them. I'm ready for another tea party. If we want to organize something.
That was Tabitha Hassel-Lazy.
Let's organize that.
Did you say you were ready for a tequila party?
It can be tequila this time around.
Don't be so negative. Don't be so negative.
I am tired of paying taxes that pay for other people to live for free or to give them free things. I'm tired of it. We should all be tired of it.
Okay.
And we are tired of it, but we don't do anything about it.
Well, you're right. We don't. And it's the same with everything. Crime doesn't matter. Tabitha's right. We need to start electing people who have competency, that aren't just going to do something for political nature. And the border's a good example. Biden 20 years ago said we need to close the border. Why did he flip-flop on something like that? It's because it's all political. He's shilling for votes. He's like a scam artist. He's like a late night infomercial guy. He just wants you to buy the product that absolutely does nothing. He's literally like an infomercial salesman. Come on, man. That's his big statement. Every time he says, come on, man.
Eric, think about this.
He gets 20,000 votes every time he says, come on, man.
When you work and you get paid by the hour, you make 27 cents per hour. That's the rest of your money goes towards taxes. Now, you may not realize that, because it's not like you're getting a paycheck and you're only getting paid 27 cents an hour, but you're getting paid And then you're getting payroll taxes. And then you're paying that money that you've earned on grocery taxes at the grocery store, taxes on your home, taxes on your car, taxes on every single thing you buy. And then you're going to pay more taxes at the end of the year with the government, every single thing. So think about this. Every time you go to work, think about your hourly pay as being 27 cents of every dollar, 27 cents of every dollar.
Yep. I think we've covered this ground so much, it's unbelievable.
But why doesn't anybody do anything about it? Why aren't people more angry about it?
Because I have a theory on that. I have a theory on that. It's like, why isn't an AOC more pissed off about this, or the liberal wing of them? Because they are, if they were to come, if cancel this, the team of cancel this was to leave the studio at 10 o'clock today, and you had an AOC and you had a Cori Bush and you had a Tashara Jones come in here, and they had their own version of cancel this, or they didn't call it cancel this. Maybe they called it something else. Guarantee you they would not have a segment that had anything to do with Kim Gardner. I'm going to guarantee you this. Not one of their segments would have anything to do with Biden. The things that they talk about in their circles, transgendered rights.
Yes, I'm glad you're.
They talk about we really have to defund the police and replace it with something else. They would come in here and they would talk about all of this other stuff that was vitally important to them. It would have nothing to do with them understanding the ramifications of a cause and effect.
Because you don't think they care about paying taxes?
I know, Tabitha, you don't understand.
I'm so confused.
What's to be?
Well, we were talking about taxes, and then you were talking about how subjects that liberals talk about.
Yes,
and I'm trying to relate how those two.
No, they want more taxes.
Together.
They want more taxes
because they want more free stuff, is what you're saying.
They want more taxes.
Government.
Because guess what?
I'm just wanting to hear Eric
programs,
say it.
Government this.
Because you're right, Eric.
Because somebody working down town St. Louis doesn't pay taxes. They look at their paycheck and they go, "Oh, look, $14 taken out of my $215 check." Okay, that's not important to them. What's important to them is to get someone who's making $40 million a year to pay their $10 million a year.
And you realize,
you know what? They don't want $10 million.
Of course it is.
They don't want so Cori Bush and them coming into this studio, we go, we don't want the $10 million a year. We want 25 million of that 40
Eric,
million.
You bring up Cori Bush and Tabitha. She just got married.
I know.
She got married to one of her security detail.
Doesn't it? So you're a big dot connector, Vic. Don't you see the dot connection here?
No.
Normally
how much
I
did
do, but
she pay for her private security?
Well, yeah.
Wasn't it around $70,000 a year for her private security? Now we find out it was actually her boyfriend.
Well, it was her boyfriend as well. Her boyfriend was one of the private security members who was getting paid. So they've gotten married. Cori Bush's total now for private security, despite saying she will defund police at every opportunity that she can, is now over $500,000 has been spent on private security.
That's coming back into her own home.
$500,000 on private security has been spent by one person, Cori Bush, who says that she will defund police every chance she gets, and that she is still fighting for that, and that there's too many police in the St. Louis area and too many police in cities across America.
If I could say what I would like to say, I would go to prison today. So I will refrain from saying it.
Go, Tab!
I will refrain.
Do something.
From saying
go bold.
I don't need to go to prison.
Go
today.
bold.
Why would you go to prison for?
I am so infuriated over this situation. This would be, think about this in St. Charles County terms. If I'm on, let's say I'm a council person, an alder person, whatever, for St. Charles.
Yes.
Okay. I'm already receiving my salary. Okay. I'm saying defund the police. I don't even care about that. I'm already receiving my salary, however much that might be per year. And then I'm taking the city's money, your taxpayer money, and I'm paying my boyfriend who lives in my home.
He was one of the security members.
$70,000 a year, let's say. And then that money, not only am I getting my salary for being a council person, but I'm also having the money of the person I hired and the money that I took away from taxpayers also coming into my home. And that means Cori Bush is supporting her lifestyle and the lifestyle of her now husband on your taxpayer dollars. And guess what? That was the city's taxpayer dollars. Now it's the state's taxpayer dollars.
Well said.
Well, why are you going to go to jail for that?
Because of what I would like to do about it. Which is going to be nothing.
Why am I so scared?
Because when I leave here, I'm going to work and I'm going to wipe it from my head. But I am so angry over it.
It's sickening. It is absolutely. Even if she was for police.
It has nothing. Yeah, even besides
even if it was I'm for police, there's a secondary issue that her boyfriend is one of the people. And if they're living together, I didn't see any proof that they were living together.
They're married. Well, they are now because they're married.
Now they are.
But I have heard this. I don't know if it's true.
But
I can't confirm it.
Here's the
I don't
good
know,
news.
Corey Bush. Thank God.
So here's the good news. You have to wake up next to that every morning. Hi, Corey.
Eric, stop it. Eric, stop it. You don't mean you're just trying to be funny.
Look. You know, when I heard, let me be honest.
It's a disgusting abuse of taxpayer money.
Yes, it is.
Is what's happening right there.
Let me just say this. I congratulate them. Okay. I heard about the thing and I wanted to be, here's a Corey Bush story. I'm disgusted. And then I said, well, she got married. And I was like, you know what? Put politics aside. Congratulations to both of them. They found something they liked in the heat of battle.
Screw them.
Okay. Congratulations, Corey. I'm happy you got married. And I hope you're happy with your decision. And I hope you guys have a beautiful life together. Just stay out of our damn politics here in St. Louis. Okay.
If there was a way I could keep $1 of mine from going to that crackhead, I would do it.
What the?
Sorry.
Now that you're going to get sued for defamation.
I didn't say crackhead was. I'm just going to shut up now.
Okay.
Corey,
congratulations on your personal endeavors. I'm sure you guys are going to be happy. Go on vacation. Have a beautiful life. Let's just start funding some cops. All right. Here we go.
Exactly.
Thank you.
No better way.
Now we have no problems.
And by the way,
I invite you out to a PRL show this weekend. Come on out. I don't even know if I'm.
I just can't even. I just have to keep my mouth shut.
Put her on stage and have a dance. And
exactly. She can be PRL. She can be the Backstreet Girl tonight. Boom.
This is why I was against the state getting involved in the city, because the state's money is going to be wasted. It's going to be wasted away on situations like this.
You're still against a state takeover?
I'm not against it because the police want it. And I love the police and I support the police. But I see our tax money from the state being squandered by people like Corey Bush and Tashara Jones. You know, she's going to be one of the police commissioners on the board. She's not out of the picture when it comes to the state board.
Yeah, her police chief, by the way, has been very quiet.
Nothing's going to change.
This guy, we've already seen the new police chief is
scared.
Yeah, he's
nervous.
Let's just say he's got a boss, and his boss is Tashara, and Tashara has him sitting down with his hands folded on his lap, and he's just, we'll let you know when you can talk and you can move. That's what it appears to be. But I haven't talked to anybody.
Every time I've seen him in an interview, it's like, is she behind me? Is she behind me right now? Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, let me.
Exactly. No, we see how it goes. Hey guys, just want to remind everybody, Brad Young tomorrow, 9:00. Looking forward to having Brad Young on the show, a St. Louis based attorney. We'll get into some of those classified documents. He always has a surprise for us. We'll ask him about lawsuits continuing to go after Kyle Rittenhouse because some new lawsuits are going after Kyle Rittenhouse. So he has to get a fund together. And on Thursday, we're scheduled to have Kyle join the show live at 9 a.m. And he is going across the country right now. He's trying to gain money and get money to fight his legal battles right now as well. So he's become a picture when it comes to First Amendment or Second Amendment rights, when it comes to standing your ground and situations like that. He has been making the rounds across the country, taking pictures and hanging out with a lot of big time politicians. So he's supposed to come in on Thursday as well. Looking forward to those two interviews. Tabitha's got a couple good stories for our Free for All Friday when it comes to a catastrophic event coming.
Oh, it's happening, according to Good Housekeeping.
Stop it.
Which is on its way on Friday, plus some news about UFOs and the Navy.
And that's going to be a wild story. More from the congressional hearings.
More from the congressional
That's what
hearings?
these Navy testimonies are part of the congressional hearings.
Okay, I got it. Blink-182 took care of that with us a few years ago.
I love Blink-182,
Yeah,
even if all their songs sound the same.
Oh, boy. Here we go. I'll be over here if you need me.
What music group songs really sound different from all their songs?
ABBA. No, I'm kidding. I'm just doing that for Eric. I want to see the look on his face.
I think she really does like ABBA.
I do really like ABBA.
It's fine.
But their songs do sound a lot
she
the
pictures
same,
herself as a dancing queen.
I am a dancing queen.
And that's why. And that's her age group.
It is.
Vic's going to have a talking to after the show.
I know, I do. A lot of things I need a talking to.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. Okay. I'm way more Billie Eilish.
We need to get Blink 182 on here on a Friday to talk to us about UFOs.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, let's reach out.
Maybe they'll play a song for us. Yeah. And it doesn't matter which one.
Or Angels and Airwaves, the group that branched off of it.
There you go.
Okay. Nobody cares except me and a few people.
I love that song. I love them.
Okay, guys, we appreciate you joining us today for cancelthisshow.com. Of course, you can always get all of our original content there. Nice job today on the boards, Tim. We appreciate it. Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, I'm Vic Faust. And as always, check out our sponsors. We're going to have a sponsor page. It's I believe it'll be up by tomorrow. So you see all of the advertisers who are teaming with us. If you need any of those products, check them out, give them a call, let them know that you knew about them. We cancel this. More on the way as well as we continue to try to grow our footprint. We appreciate everybody who's listening all across the country. And as always, if you have story ideas, if you have cancel culture stories, let us know. We'll get into them as well. Anything else we need to remind people of before we get out of here?
I think we covered it. Let's see. Joe Biden, streets downtown St. Louis. Yeah, we got everything.
And share the show. If you like the show, share the show.
And by the way, if anybody wants to race out Kim Gardner's rallies at 10 o'clock at Carnahan.
I might go.
Hall. Okay.
I might go.
You better get down there.
Yeah. Hey, Kim, you're doing a great job.
All right. Have an awesome Tuesday, everybody, on this February 28th. We'll catch up with you later for more Cancel This.
House has the largest selection of solid wood with the hottest new styles. Real furniture that's built to last, like our solid bedrooms, living rooms, and dining from Kincaid. Our volume enables us to save you a lot of money, especially during our solid wood sale. Plus, get free financing, fast free delivery, and free in-home design. So for solid wood, sweet styles, and solid service since 1964, shop over 3 football fields of furniture at Carroll House, because you like nice things.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com. Kathy L. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local athletes to injured workers and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com, DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.